welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie Charnock. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you want to like this video, that would be amazing. We're just gonna jump right into it. Today we are going to be talking about how to keep your focus on Jesus. How to choose Jesus in a world full of distractions. Life can be crazy. Every day we have a million little things dying to get our attention, whether that be our family, our friends, companies, brands, or just little distractions in general. There's literally a worldwide pandemic going on right now, protests about different societal issues, and that's not even taking into account what's going on in your life right now. There are so many temptations and trials in this world, and it's so easy to get caught up in all of it and lose sight of the goal, which is to love God and to love your neighbor. Of course, there are a lot of other things that we do as Christians and that we're called to do as Christians, but it boils down to those two things: love God and love your neighbor. So life is crazy, but the real question is, how do I stay spiritually focused when I'm constantly being distracted? Disclaimer, I struggle with this a lot too. Keeping my eyes on Jesus, it's really hard, and it's something we all have to work at. But I'm going to go through a couple different things that have helped me, and I think will help you in your walk with the Lord, and just keeping your eyes focused on Him and not being distracted by all the little things in the world. First, you need to realize the importance of keeping your eyes on Jesus. Psalm 123:2 says, "Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maidservant to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God till He has mercy upon us." John 15:1-4 says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit He takes away, and every branch that does not bear fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me." And then Colossians 3:1-5 says, "Since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with Him in glory. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry." So the main point is that we need to keep our focus on Jesus, as it says in all those Bible verses. We need to keep our eyes on Him, just like the story of Peter walking on the water. He started to walk out on the water, on the sea, but he got distracted by how strong the wind and the waves were, that he started to sink. He took his focus off of Jesus, and then when he called back to Jesus, "Lord, help me," when he put his focus right back on Him and his eyes right back on Him, he started to walk again, and Jesus saved him and pulled him right back into the boat. So my first tip is to make time and space for God every day in your own life. Whether this be listening to worship music on your way to work, or making space to have quiet time in the morning or the evening, it is so important to get time with God every day, especially in prayer too. I already made a video, should be right there, about how to prioritize your quiet time with Jesus, so go check it out if you haven't already. But developing your prayer life is so important. This is one of my weak areas, I actually must admit, and I have a really hard time committing to sitting down in silence and praying every day, but we can work on that together. My second tip is to keep reminders of Jesus around you. Put your favorite scripture up on the walls, make a Bible verse your background screen, or maybe buy or paint a painting that reminds you of scripture. Psalm 1:2 says, "But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on His law he meditates day and night." Memorizing scripture is an excellent way to do this. The first Bible passage I ever memorized was Psalm 23. The chapter. I repeat it to myself during hard seasons of life, or even when I'm having a hard day, and it is such a great reminder just of how God's with me. And by memorizing scripture, you will always have that in your heart, and you can just, in your mind too, where you can repeat it to yourself and make those reminders to you every day. Psalm 23. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me on paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." That's a great chapter to memorize. It's nice and short and sweet, and I feel like it's pretty easy to memorize, and you guys should memorize it because then you'll have it in your little mind bank right there. My last tip is that you should remove distractions, or even people sometimes, that take your focus off of Christ. Maybe you spend 99% of your time with non-believers and they aren't having the best effect on you. Or maybe the only TV content you consume is filled with violence, sex, and alcohol. Maybe you only read books about secular topics. Whatever it is, if you can even make a slight change to one of your habits, I think you will find it much easier to find God in your everyday life. God doesn't call us to be perfect, or even to only consume Christian content all of the time, but he does call us to be set apart. We are in the world, but not of it. Also, it is not bad to hang out with non-Christians. It's actually good because that's how you share the gospel and the love of Christ to others. But you should spend time with other believers because that's how you're going to be spiritually filled and lifted up with fellowship with other Christians. Lastly, something small that I like to do is to just go on a walk or go out in nature at all. Seeing a beautiful sunset or just some beautiful creation is such a great reminder of how awesome our God is, that he created this world for us to live in. The bottom line is that it comes to surrounding our lives around Christ. It will not be perfect and you will not be perfect, but by making small changes, you will find it easier and easier to keep your focus on him. I hope this was encouraging for you all, and if you got one thing out of this video, I hope it's that you know that Jesus wants to spend time with you, but you have to let him, and you have to open yourself up to him and pursue that relationship just how he pursues you. Well, we will never be perfect, but Jesus pursues you and he just wants to know your heart. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I will see you next week. Bye.